people normally think that rigging is basically tied a little couple of wires, a little couple of cables, but rigging is more than this. Mr. Rodriguez, what do you think about rigging? Danny, rigging is not as simple. The people think that rigging is just a couple of cables.
No.
It's more than this.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. You got to run, if it's a two-stroke, you got to run oil lines, you got to run battery cables, you got to run the main wiring harness. If it's not a fly-by-wire, then you got to do the shift cables. You got to make the shift adjustments.
Correct. This is a perfect picture about the lights for sailboats and powerhead boats. Powerhead boats over there and sailboats over there. All right, the installation of those lights is not difficult. The most important consideration is where is coming the power for those lights, and this is the recommendation. In the majority of the boats, you have a panel. You have an exclusive panel dedicated for navigation lights. That panel for navigation lights should be connected directly to a constant positive bus bar or to the house batteries. Right now we are going to talk about that. In some boats you don't have this specific panel. In some boats you have toggle switches for navigation lights, and those toggle switches on the console, on the dashboard, receive the power from that constant positive bus bar or from the positive of the house battery, depend on the configuration of your boat. Danny, now we are going to talk about the adjustment in mechanical systems.
Right.
Basically, we have three types of cables, no?
Yeah. You have one here is the Evinrude.
Evinrude.
And then you can make the adjustment from here to set it to how you want.
Because the rod is fixed.
Yeah,
no?
This is fixed and this is fixed. This goes in the control box and it's fixed.
Okay.
And then this one here goes to the motor. So if you need to make the adjustments, you move the barrel. And then once you make the adjustment, you clamp it. It has a clamp special with 3/8 bolt. It clamps and it holds it. So that's why it has these ridges, so it won't move.
Okay. You clamp it over there.
And this is the Evinrude Johnson version of that.
Evinrude Johnson.
Okay.
Perfect. Danny, this is the mechanisms to lock the system.
Correct.
Because this is the element that is over there on
Right.
the block. And you have a couple of dents over there.
Yep.
And with those dents, you fix it this one.
Yeah, so if you look this way, it locks. It can't move because remember it's against another piece here, through bolted with a 3/8 bolt.
And
see how it only moves a little bit, but you can't move much.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
you
that's
have
how
another one equal in the other side.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so like we were just saying, so the adjustment now, you loosen that 3/8 bolts, it takes the pressure off of this, and then you make the adjustment. So remember, if it's like this, it's got too much throw. So then I want to go reverse, so it pulls back and then makes the adjustment. And then once it's there, then you hook this up, and now you know you're not going to get a coat.
Okay. The tip is this one free.
Free. So but you got to make sure that it pulls back. Now I'm gonna move the throttle. I want you to see what happens. See how it moves?
And what about this one?
This one is the typical Mercury cable.
Oh, Mercury cable.
It's fixed at the control box. And the adjustment on the Mercury has this. It has a slot that you put this in, and there's a clip that holds it.
Correct.
And this is so you make your adjustments here. So this is fixed again.
Oh, okay, perfect. This is Mercury.
This is a Mercury Mercruiser.
Mercruiser inboard, outboard.
Inboard,
outboard. Perfect. And this one?
This one is the same thing. It's 33C cable, but this is all fixed. It's fixed at the motor and is fixed at the control box. There's a little piece here. You make the adjustment, and then once you make the adjustment, you tighten the nut so it holds on.
This is only to tighten.
That's only to tighten. This is what it's called, 33C cable. This is a U-Flex Mach cable, but they have Morse cables. But when they say 33C, it's like this.
Okay. It's used in what type of?
Yamaha, Suzuki, Volvo, OMC stern drives especially in the back, because the OMC stern drive. Remember, the OMC stern drive, the cable goes right to the outdrive.
Correct.
Same thing as the Volvo goes right up to the outdrive.
Okay. All right. Danny, this is the typical control mechanisms, mechanical, for fuel, for shift, That's too simple, no?
Yeah, this is it's called a surface mount control box.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, this mounts on the side of
On
the
the
gun.
surface, yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So you have your cables that come in here. This is your throttle only. So if you watch, this is your throttle. That's so when you first start it.
Can you move it, please? Perfect. That's the throttle. Okay, and the adjustment is exactly the
And
same.
the adjustment here, remember I told you the 33C cable? This is a Morris 33C cable. See the how it holds the groove, keeps it stationary?
Correct.
Here's where you make the adjustment. See the nut's nice and tight.
You lose the nut,
and then you have
adjust.
a circle clip just to hold it onto the shifting
Correct.
mechanism.
Only
the
to
throttle.
hold it.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then the bottom one is your shift. That's forward. See, forward. I'm giving it gas. Neutral. It's going back to neutral. Reverse, and then I can give it gas and reverse. Neutral.
How operate that system?
Okay, so I have one here for a single engine, and you have your harness here. This is your private network, because when you're dealing with fly-by-wire, you have the NEMA, which is the public network.
Correct.
And then you have the private network, which is to the engine itself.
This is the private network, exclusive for the engine.
Correct. And so this one has the same thing. It's a private network. So all your wiring harness is in this. No more big wiring harnesses.
Nice.
So you're just running one cable back to the bus system. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
And I'll explain the bus system in a second. So this one here, this is a dual engine. So when you're in neutral, it's normally not flat. It's just we have a low battery right now, so it's flashing. So when you put it in gear, it tells you now it's in gear.
Okay.
In neutral, it's in neutral. And reverse. This has an indicator.
Okay, perfect.
This one here has the same thing.
The same indicator for forward and reverse.
Right, for a single, this is for twin. Okay, some now they have one that's completely black, which is the basic model, which is still fly-by-wire, but it doesn't have all these features. Now, if you notice, this has an RPM feature and that has an RPM feature. Check this out. You know when you're trolling to go fishing, you want to give it a little bit more gas. You give it a little bit more gas.
Yeah.
You press a button, 50 RPMs. I want more, 50 more RPMs. I want more.
And you
50,
don't need.
and you don't have to move the throttle.
Oh, nice. It's possible if I have a boat with a mechanical system with cable. Can I convert into electronic?
No, you can, but it'd be too expensive because the computer's different and then the wiring's different as far as the harness, because you would use, if it's a mechanical system, you're going to use a regular wiring harness like the typical that we've been using forever.
Correct.
And, but you can still read on the public network because the private network is specifically for a throttle body. Not for the throttle body, the fly-by-wire. But if you want to read your engines on a GPS and your NEMA system,
correct.
all you need is that harness that we just showed you that hooks up to the computer.
The gateway.
And it goes right to your electronics. And you can bypass it. Everything can still be mechanical.
And you use the same screen for the rest of the electronics.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, but this is basically only to read the information,
It's
not to
only-
administrate.
No, it's only to read. You can't do anything.
Yeah,
it's just for
that's
reading purposes.
different.